welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sport. You're on a Wednesday. We finally get to say it again.
Let's go,
Tony's
baby.
favorite day of the week. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, man. It's Wednesday, obviously getting over the hump so far. I suppose Rangers lost, tough. But nonetheless, going to be a dope night. We have some gaming corner later on. Big day.
What's
it's
on tap?
cold,
Gaming corner?
dude. Probably just Nintendo Switch, going
Switch.
back to the well, strikers online, trying to get better at it, There's still some times, where Mike and I go on and we just get absolutely mollywopped, dude. Just can't even get a goal in. Looking like the Rangers last night, honestly.
Oh, my God.
But still should be a good time. And yes, we'll talk about the Rangers. We'll break down the goals or the lack thereof by the Rangers side.
And I told you, I'm done.
Dude.
I'm not I looked at the schedule. There's 7 or 8 games in a row. All
Tough.
teams that are good.
Tough teams.
I'm not doing the whole, it's the Rangers. No. I'm going to predict them to lose. I'm just saying. So
All right.
just so you know, I don't want anybody getting up in arms, about that.
All right. I'll be fine, dude. I'll be fine, dude.
Fair warning. But what do we got here?
A fair warning from the fans we got. Michael Buckner, what a time at Mohegan last night. UConn dismantled
Michael.
Iowa State, 101-68. We made 23s last night, and that's a record. Wow, dude.
Glad Michael enjoyed that. We know him,
Yeah.
UConn game all over it. So that I'm sure that must have been a treat to see
dude.
the ladies in action, and he gets a double dip because tonight, not that he's going to be there, but the men, the home opener
Against who?
like we said, or not the home conference opener, Xavier.
It's right. Xavier from
so that's,
Ohio.
7 o'clock on FS1. So if you want to get the Stream East, the Fox Sports app all ready to go,
You'll
Tony.
be dialed in?
I'm actually that's like my entertainment for tonight. I'm definitely watching the whole game through and through. I've told you, I've been reinvigorated
Nice, dude.
from going to the game at the Garden last weekend.
Good. Hey, man, the Garden will do that to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Unless
right.
you're watching the Rangers right now.
Unless you're watching the Rangers, yes. Michael Buckner loves the Garden, but also thinks Mohegan Sun is fire, dude. And then we have Kev doing the house saying, let's go, dude. We want the smoke Mohegan. And he says, let's get over it with a congrats for the overrated trade the Yankees did yesterday.
It's
dude.
funny. I think Matthew has handled it, so I don't need to say too much about this. But all I would say is, and this never changes no matter what happens, but never been prouder to be a New York Yankee fan. So just think about that, Kev. That's all I'm going to say. There's no war of words. That's all I'm going to say, man. So can't wait for next season, bud.
Oh, that's so funny. Matthew, Gabriel, okay, come on, dude, let's go. Kev, thank you. How's the pitching staff of yours coming along? Old sport. I mean, it looks all right, dude, not going to lie.
No.
So just have 2 guys in the team. Would you get anyone else? Fat Polar Bear Pete, maybe. Kev Michael B, Mr. Hurley Roll Skis,
dude.
The Rangers, oh my God, just awful. God-awful, absolutely. Josh B, speaking of God-awful, says, yo, what up, fam? Matthew Gabriel says, Michael, did you do a little gambling at Mohegan? And he says, what is up to Joshy
You think
boy,
Michael
dude?
Buck at the blackjack table? Could you imagine, though, he hits a perfect match. He, hits a blackjack. I can only imagine the excitement. It's like Hurley was the dealer almost.
I mean, oh my God, dude. He probably wouldn't be able to stop talking about Hurley at the table, dude. But yeah, I feel like Michael will have a good time, blackjack.
Oh,
and he's the
yeah.
type of guy, too. He wins, he's happy. People at the table, how do you not smile when that dude is having a good time?
Yeah. Shout out Michael
dude?
Bucka.
Yes,
The
dude.
energy. We're always about energy, positive energy, enthusiasm, and that's what Michael Bucka brings.
That is what he brings, dude.
Sometimes it's about Snow White, but a lot of times it's about sports, and of course, I'm all about that.
Absolutely, dude. And just like that, we are caught up on the comments, Brian.
And just like that, we're just going to go to the world of Major League Baseball.
Way down it. Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So we have been talking about this for weeks or even years, but the Yankees finally landing outfielder first baseman Cody Bellinger from the Chicago Cubs, shipping out right-hander Cody Petit, who made a handful of starts for the Yankees last year. The 30-year-old right-hander pitched well in limited action with a 2.22 ERA, and they also are receiving $5 million in cash to offset some of the contract of Cody Bellinger, who's set to make $27.5 million this year, and then has a $27.5 million player option, for next season. And then I think the buyout would be $2.5 million, for next year if he does decide to opt out. Which you would think that kind of money. I mean, if he has a similar year or slightly better, maybe he stays. But who knows? With that ballpark in the Bronx, he could be in for a big season. Which could potentially get, the 29-year-old left-handed hitter a big contract next offseason.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's very interesting. It really is. I mean, I don't think that it's. I don't know. Kev Du's saying that you overpaid for Bellinger.
No, overrated.
Or
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to say he's not that good, but it's like overpaid. I mean, Cody Petit.
Yeah,
we won't even. Did half the Yankee fans even know he was on the active roster?
It's funny. I mean, it's funny because I remember us talking about him. Like, he is good, but again, I mean, if there's one thing too the Yankees could give up on, it's some pitching staff too.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, I don't think the move is horrible, and not for nothing. Like, I'm we talked about Cody Bellinger probably the past couple off seasons about where you can go next. Mets interested, Yankees could be interested. You never know. The MVP year, we know the deal, the run. When him and Yelich in the heyday, I could be there. And he's 29.
29. Will 29 30 in July.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, again, it's not like his career is over. I think there's a little bit of a question mark. He comes off a pretty solid year, not gonna lie, with the Cubs, batting 266. I think he had 18 homers. 569 plate appearances. So he's, you're getting the full season out of him. You're not seeing him make necessarily huge mistakes out in the field or anything. And then his first year with the Cubs, the season prior, I mean, he was killing it, dude. Batting 307 with 29 home runs, a bit of a resurgence. Especially with batting average, batting consistently, having consistently good at bats. Because his last season with the Dodgers, it looks like he was batting only 210. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just about a question mark of what type, what kind of Cody Bellinger you're going to be getting this season, because obviously he proves that he can hit for average, he can hit for power. It's a matter of, I guess, pulling both of those two things together. But again, we've talked about him in the past off seasons, and it's like, why not take a flyer on him? I mean, I don't think you really gave up much. And again, to have, a Cody Bellinger that once was on the Yankees roster, like, yeah, dude.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean, I think it's an absolute home run, and I consider it you give up nothing. And then you just think about, the offseason in a whole with the Devin Williams trade. I mean, you're giving up Nestor, Cody Petit, and Caleb Durbin. I mean, these aren't big assets. They're assets that you could trade easily. And then you have Devin Williams, arguably one of the best closers in the league. And then you get Bellinger here. So the talk is now, I thought, it would be a surety. Okay, he'll play first base, but they're playing him in the outfield. So whether he's replacing Anthony Rizzo or Alex Verdugo, the improvement you're getting on, the offensive side specifically, and especially, if he does play some first base, over what Rizzo did last year, I mean, is absolutely tremendous. And I think it's one of those things, bare minimum, he's hitting 20 to 25 home runs, but with a chance to hit 30 to 35 home runs, because of Yankee Stadium. He's a pull hitter, and he's great defensively, whether he's playing first base or outfield. And this is a guy who, I know it was a few years back now, but, had a 39 home run season, a 47 home run season. And that's at a ballpark like Dodger Stadium with bigger dimensions. So you can only imagine, if he really put some work in, kind of adjusting his swing to that short porch in right field. This is going to be great. And I think it's exactly what the Yankees needed to do. And I like it so much better, especially if he's going to be in the outfield, and we'll have that outfield of Dominguez, Bellinger, and Judge. I like this so much better than overpaying for, Teoscar or Santander, giving those guys big money. So, if the plan is to keep him in the outfield, then obviously the attention turns to first base. And my kind of thought, they've mentioned Goldschmidt, which to me is just as good as Arenado, which is a no. I've kind of come on more to Christian Walker, and I know he wants a 3-year deal. I think originally it was 3 years, 60. How about, righting the wrong of when we, re-signed DJ, instead of making it more years, make it less years. And I saw someone float this out there on Twitter this morning, potentially do like a 2-year $50 million or $55 million or up to $60 million, because I think the value of Christian Walker is definitely this season, because he can be middle of the order and play good defense. And if you do that, I think it's obvious you just fill, whether it's third or second, internally. I mean, because I like his arm, and I think he was settling in at third. I kind of like just keeping Jazz at third, and then going with whether it's, Oswaldo Cabrera or Oswaldo Peraza playing second base. I think that's the way to go here. So it'll be interesting to see how they, complete the offseason. But those are really the two, remaining question marks for the Yankees is those positions, first, and whether it be second or third base. But I'm definitely really excited, about the complexity of this team, and can't wait to see what else they're going to do to round out what has been, really good recovery here, after the Juan Soto situation.
So, I guess I guess you just said Juan Soto. I mean, what do you think? Do you think no matter what at this point, do you think the Yankees have recouped the home runs, the scoring, the opportunities that Soto has given the Yankees? You think they've recouped the lineup to get back to that?
It's one of those things, because since Jason Dominguez, hasn't played a full season, it's hard to, project what exactly his numbers are going to be. But if you think about it, I mean, Alex Verdugo, you might as well have had him hit 0 with 0 home runs, because that's pretty much what he did for you. So, and same thing with Anthony Rizzo. So the fact that you're replacing those two guys somewhat, in the lineup in terms of just offensive production, with Bellinger and Dominguez, who, I think combined are going to hit somewhere to 40 to 50 home runs, and obviously score a bunch of runs. I mean, I really think you have. And then you couple that with a veteran first baseman, and like I said, hopefully it's Walker. They've mentioned maybe Santana as well, or Nate Lowe. But I would like Walker. I think that would be good. And then I was listening to actually MLB Network Radio, Steve Phillips, who, remember, we saw from a distance at, was it Mad Dog? Yeah, Mad Dog this summer, was talking about why not just go Walker and Bregman. But I just think it's interesting. I'm more against it just from what we've seen from him the last couple of years. But I just think Bregman, put the Houston stuff aside, it just, the big contract, that seems irresponsible to me. And I know, he can play a good third base, but a good third base for $30 million a year when you're going to hit, 250 with 20 home runs. I just think we could kind of get that with Jazz. Well, obviously Jazz will be playing third if he's not there, but with Oswaldo Cabrera and Peraza, whatever they give them. So, I think that's the way to go. But for you, and obviously I know it's difficult, for you to put on a Yankee cap, but just for a second here, for you with Bregman, is it more about his situation with Houston and how he would be received both in the clubhouse and by the fans, or just the fact that it's $100 million contract and he just has not given us any type of belief that he's gonna kind of go back to the player that he once was, with his declining power and OPS?
Yeah, I guess it's maybe a little bit of both of those things. I mean, I do think he's not worth that money. And then on top of that, Yankee fans will absolutely bring up the whole Astros thing, which, honestly, I don't know, man. I would put that aside, to be honest. not for nothing, like you did, like you're doing it with Cole. You know, obviously Cole's playing really well. So if
Yeah, I think it's just different though because there's just that sense. Well, first of all, you know, Cole wasn't on any World Series winning teams, and then also there's just that sense that the hitters were really, you know, and Bregman hit one of the home runs,
and he's also again, I mean, he was just like Correa too. They were kind of more outspoken about like, well, all right, like let's get past it. It's like, all right, dude. So yeah, I can see that, and it's like, yeah, dude. I mean, like you said, third baseman. I mean, you got Jazz,
right?
So it's like I don't really think it's necessary to go after Bregman. And honestly, dude, like I don't know. I mean, beyond that, I don't think I'd be pursuing Bregman. I don't think there's no reason to.
Yeah, and they're saying like, supposedly your Mets are pursuing him. Supposedly, I don't know if that's a little smoke or what. I don't know if you heard that, but
yeah, I heard that. Yeah, again, I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, you know what Vientos, what type of role he's gonna have, because you know he obviously plays third base. There also is the Brett Beatty conversation, and it's like, you know, I mean, I guess yeah. If you're not, I mean, and you know, we really haven't made any moves honestly since Soto, so it's like, you know,
yeah, no, exactly.
Like I really don't know what's happening with Alonso. Like, what's like where's the team gonna start to pivot towards next? Is really a huge question mark for me. But I don't know, man. The last thing we need is another third baseman, I feel. So it's like, unless you're not having Alonso, Vientos plays first, but it's like, what?
Well, Vientos could play DH, though, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, like, you really don't know. But then.
Yeah, and especially, too, if it's, you know, 5 years, 150. I mean, you're going to be pissed.
I don't think Stearns would want to do that. Honestly,
no, what I'm saying, but you,
like,
right? I mean, you. I mean,
you would,
like.
But I don't think that they would do that for that much money.
You're right. No, and I honestly think their plan, just the way I see it, you know, maybe, you know, add a reliever or two. But I think their plan is just to re-sign Alonso, and that's it.
I think so too, to be honest. And again, like you said, maybe a reliever. And I mean, I don't know, maybe another bat. I don't know, because again, like I think putting Vientos to the DH spot for the year is like kind of a waste in my opinion.
You think he picks it at third pretty good?
Yeah, and honestly, he played first really well. A couple games he did as well. So it's like I think that kid in the field would be great. I don't want to see a young kid like at the DH position. That's like, again, JD Martinez. You know, that's you want like a DH, like an older. Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt, dude. He can be a good DH, I feel. Which I think you're underplaying Goldschmidt a little bit.
I mean, the numbers were terrible. Really, the last couple years, no?
Yeah?
I mean, I was just looking this up last night. I'm pretty sure his, like, I mean, maybe he hit 20 home runs last year, but I thought he hit in, like,
last year he hit
230s.
22 home runs, 245, slugging 414.
I mean, it's just a sharp fall off from like MVP a few years ago.
MVP a couple years ago, yeah.
And he's 37.
I know, he's old as hell. That's the problem. I will say, though, because I picked it up for fantasy, like second half of the year.
A little surge.
He definitely had a better second half than his first half, so I don't know what the deal is there. But, I mean, you never know with that. I mean, you know, St. Louis kind of seems like a weird time to be on a Cardinals, so I don't know. Because, again, like you said, 2 years ago, MVP season, I understand he's older, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I would – let's see Christian Walker here.
Yeah, Christian Walker's 34.
Yeah, so he's
gonna be.
He's gonna be turning 34. Last year, I guess similar stats: 251, 26 home runs.
But injured. That's the thing, and was killing it before the injury. I believe it was.
Oh yeah, he has
injury.
like 100 less at bats.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
no, Walker, and he's good at first.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna hit around 30 home runs. So
right.
on a 2-year deal, I mean I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
I just the 3 years is just like
Yeah, for Goldschmidt 40.
You know, so it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Would you rather have Bellinger just play first in general?
Kind of, but then I guess it's like I'm trying to think about the outfielder. So then it's like, you know, then are you gonna do like Waldo in the outfield and Peraza at second? It's just like, are those guys ready? You know, obviously you could bring in somebody else, but who's the somebody else? But yeah, that initially when the deal was made, that's what I thought. But you know, Corey was actually you know, texting us in the group chat, and he said the plan is definitely to have him you know, in the outfield, and obviously he has the positional flexibility.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, to do both. But I guess they're just feeling, you know, oh, he's good in the field, so the outfield, so let's just put him there. You know, I just wish there were more first base options, because I just think
it's tough.
Pete Alonso's not realistic due to the high contract demands and the fact that we're kind of scarred from how bad Anthony Rizzo played at first base, like second half of last year, and in the playoffs, of course. So we want somebody strong at first, and whether his defense is improved is not, he's not strong at first base. So coupled with a high strikeout rate, it just doesn't seem like a good idea to me for the Yankees.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it like you said, it does not. So I'm just like reading up on Alonso contract negotiations. I don't know what this is. Motorcyclesports.net. Stop it, dude. That can't be reasonable.
They were suggesting about him flexing, but he never, no one's saying that he's going to, right? I saw that
I
article.
don't think so. Yeah, this is a little bit more reputable. New York Post here. Mike Vaccaro says that Steve Cohen can flex his FU money with.
I think too,
But that's
it's
so
like
stupid, dude.
he
Why would you want
and
to do that?
Stearns
Dude?
don't want to because they'd be bidding against themselves.
Right. So, like, what is it? Like, you have nothing else to prove, to be honest, right now. I mean, I feel like you already got it done with the Soto deal in terms of, like, flexing your FU money.
Right.
And, like, there's no reason for you to overpay for a Pete Alonso at this point, dude. Because, like you said, I mean, honestly, I'm sure other teams are interested. Like, it's not, like, downplay this guy as just a player in general.
You know what I bet, though? The teams that are interested are those teams that are struggling to get free agents to sign with them.
Cardinals.
I think maybe the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, the Giants. I could see those type of teams.
Astros? What have the Astros done? I feel like they've only dumped players.
Yeah, no, they're trying to bring back Bregman, but I think they're being very coy with the negotiations.
It's so annoying, dude.
Yeah. So
Coy, dude. Pete Alonso here, Boris Corporation. Yeah, that's right.
One thing I mentioned, I don't know, I think Kev Dew kind of played it off, and almost you to a sense.
What do you mean?
The Mets pitching. I think it, like David Stearns, like I know he's a smart baseball mind.
Yeah.
I have to question, like, what the hell is he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because, I mean, we've talked about it briefly, probably when Soto was dealt. It's just like, you want to run it back with your pitching staff or somewhat try to limp your way to a better rotation. I mean, I don't know, dude. I understand, again, like, Mania career year. But, like, not for nothing. Like, no one, like, I don't know. I mean, we spoke about it last season, dude. It's like every start, you're just kind of like not really confident. At least me personally, like 100%.
With Mania, even after he got one on the run.
Yeah, dude.
Wow,
I'm not.
okay.
I mean, I'm not like sitting here thinking like this guy could be a great, second starter in your rotation. And what about even Senga? Like you're gonna bounce, or you're like rely on him to be your ace. Like he barely pitched last season. Obviously coming off the injury, and it's like, yeah, the stuff you see from him is great, but it's like, I understand it's a long season regardless. Like he's gonna have you have some time to maybe develop him again back into in that shape. Which I don't know. Senga was never really in MLB shape to begin with. Like I never really felt like he had that full adjustment coming over from Japan, dealing with the changes in the league there, and then the injury made it worse. And it's like, I don't know. It's tough for me to think that Senga will be our ace like come July. And then it's like David Peterson career year. Like, are you really going to try and rely on that again? I think you need some type of backup plan. Montas is not a backup plan.
No. And Clay Holmes, I mean, when was the last time he started a game? 5 years ago?
And, like, again, it's like...
longer. 7 years ago, probably.
And it's like, how much confidence do you have in him to perform?
Yeah.
There's like, to me, you're bringing other guys. You're alleviating some of the bullpen mess. I suppose Drew Smith will be back from injury. He's good. But it's like... I don't feel like we have a ton of depth around our rotation or our bullpen.
Have they signed any bullpen?
I don't think so, dude. I got to double check, but not even notable names.
And it's funny, while Tony's looking this up, because I saw Kev doing the comments
what do you
talking
got?
about why Stearns is the GM and not me. And I would just say to Kev I mean, listen to your fellow, put the flan down for a second, okay? Listen to your fellow Met fan. I mean, Tony is not happy with what they've done. So it's not me trying to disparage it. I mean, it's just looking at it at face value. You don't have an ace. And it feels like everybody in the rotation pretty much is a question mark. I mean, right? I mean, is there anybody in the rotation that you're like, I know he's going to pitch 30 starts, and I know he's going to have an ERA under 3.5?
Under 3.5?
That you know. There's no way that you know. Oh, maybe you could see it, but you don't feel confident about it.
I would anticipate that Peterson keeps it under a 3.5.
But even, I mean, his track record, right? I mean, he hasn't
Terrible.
put together. Yeah.
Last year was his only good year, dude.
Yeah. So it's very risky, and a team that supposedly, has all of these aspirations. I mean, the year for Peterson was good. Of course,
Great.
ERA under 3.
Yeah.
But it's all about, the follow-up. And it was as well the most innings he's ever pitched in his career.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
worry about like the jump and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. And I guess just to go over some transactions the Mets have had in terms of just the pitching alone, they did, I guess, re-sign Grant Hartwig, who I suppose did okay out of the pen. They traded, I guess, future consideration, some no-name guy, a couple minor league contracts, and I guess the Phillies purchased Mike Vossel from the Mets.
Oh, wow. 'Cause
That's
he was
interesting.
once like the top pitching prospect in the organization. Right?
He was up there.
Yeah.
But then his we were following his minor league stats.
terrible last
Yeah,
year, right?
not good. Looks like they pick up this guy Nate Lavender though from Tampa, who I guess had a couple starts last season, 3.8 ERA for Syracuse. But again, nothing of like serious note here, Obviously just, Clay Holmes and Frankie Montas, and I guess again, minor league deals here. Oliver Ortega.
I think that is. I don't. What irked you more, honestly? Holmes as a starter or Montas?
Montas, honestly.
Because it's like, when is this guy shown that he can pitch anywhere except Oakland?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just again, it's just I have more confidence in Holmes, like figuring it out than Montas, honestly.
Just because of a pure stuff perspective, but obviously it's an adjustment going back to having to kind of save your stuff for 5 or 6 innings,
Right.
70, 80, 90 pitches.
But I don't know. Again, I don't know the conversation that's been had between the pitching coach Hefner and Stearns of what he thinks he can do with pitchers. Because not for nothing, like. Mania comes to the team, has a career year. Quintana, people didn't like his signing, has a great season with the Mets. Severino, though, had a good season with the Mets.
Blackburn.
Yeah, but that's like a mid-season acquisition. That's like a
those
Stearns,
guys, those guys did have good seasons. Yes.
Those 3 starters that I have the same feeling I do right now did kind of prove me wrong down the stretch of the season. And yes, I still doubt them. But I'm excited for hopefully Montas to come in here and prove me wrong. I hope that these guys do. I really do. Obviously, I'm a Met fan, so I'd hope so. But it still is like in terms of like, I mean, obviously you're not gonna have a feeling of picking up a pitcher, the same feeling you have picking up Soto. But like, you need something a little more.
But I don't know, especially because if it's that's why I just question this whole narrative. Like, oh, he doesn't care. He'll spend $1 billion. Like, it's like, so Corbin Burns is out there. Why
Honestly,
wouldn't you sign him?
That fucking notion, though, I'm starting to hate that.
Yeah.
Like Cohen will spend, because first of all, like he has been, all right. Like let's not forget, like he has been spending a lot of money on bringing guys in, whether it be failures or not. He's been spending the money, but it's also like Stearns comes in and he literally says, "We're gonna dial it back on spending like irrationally." And like, not for nothing, again, like they still come forward and they spend the money on Soto. They did overpay for Soto to bring him in. And it's like, they're not going to overpay when they don't have to. So it's not just throw money at anyone. Okay. Cause that's what Cohen started to do. Okay. That's what he did with Verlander and Max Scherzer. He's throwing money at pitchers who were good right then, not really thinking about anything else. Just, we need to bring these guys in. We need to bring guys in. Let's spend money. Who's the top free agent? Let's bring him in.
Well,
dude.
yeah. And speaking to that, I mean, Soto was the first example of the guy that you want to give the big money to, the younger player with upside, with a lot of time left, not on the other side of 30.
And they got to that number by not just throwing money around for people like Corbin Burns, who are, again, older. Like, you never know what they're going to be like.
You wouldn't want him?
I wouldn't overpay for him. Like, no. I would be tight if they overpay for him.
But, like, so what, what do you have in mind?
What would he bring? I mean, it's tough, dude. His season, I mean, I guess, not for nothing, you're going to have to compete with like a Snell contract. So you're looking for something like that probably, right?
I think he's going to want more. They're saying 9 or 10 years. And then you think about the price of starting.
What the hell?
I mean, he's going to want over $300 million.
If it's for 10 years, he'll probably want like 350.
Even if it's for 9, he's going to want over 300.
Yeah. But like again, like what the fuck? Like that's really annoying. The 10-year, he's not going to last that long.
No. It's extremely short-sighted. I mean, I guess when you look at it from that perspective, and again, I'm not trying to help the Mets out here at all, but I would probably say what would make sense for them, because these contracts are going to be a lot less, would be to go after a guy like Walker Buehler or Jack Flaherty. You know what I mean?
Walker Buehler, I would love to get, dude.
And that contract is going to be so minute compared to what these other guys we're talking about.
You really think so?
Oh yeah, I mean, because he struggled, mightily last year. Obviously, had the impressive stuff in the World Series. But if you look at it too, I mean, what was the last? I mean, go down. I mean, what was the last season that was a full season? It was a solid season. I mean, when was that?
Let's see. 33 starts, 2021.
So 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Other than that, he's been highly mediocre. Missed one season, and then the other two parts of the season wasn't good.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, he
2 Tommy Johns too.
Yeah, 2 Tommy Johns. That was the injuries. Absolutely hammered him, dude.
Yeah.
But not for nothing. Like, I mean, he showed up in the postseason last year for you.
Yeah,
mightily,
but so that gives you some hope. Oh, you can work with it, especially what you're talking about with the pitching coach.
When he's healthy, he is very dominant. Obviously, health is an issue, and I would love to go after Walker Buehler, but I mean,
I don't think it's any more than like $60 to $75 million.
Contract status not updated. Is
that means he's a free agent.
He's still a free. Okay, I thought so.
Versus $300 million. I mean, to me, that seems like a no-brainer.
I wonder though, like what he's thinking. I don't know much about his Excel Corporation, Excel Sports, whatever. Not a Boris client, which I guess would probably work in the Mets' favor. But he's probably going to be looking for a long-term deal.
I don't think he'll be able to get it though. Maybe that's what he wanted, but then also you have to be realistic.
I'd give him 5 years, I guess, at most.
And I'm telling you, I think you can do 3 for $75 all day.
Really?
I think
3 for $75.
The Nathan Eovaldi deal. I think that is what and that Nathan Eovaldi has a way better track record than Walker Buehler the last 3 years.
And you think so?
Yeah, because he's pitched and his ERA is under 4. And he's making 30 starts.
Oh, they're saying Eovaldi's better track record. Yeah,
yes,
okay, yeah,
yes.
definitely, absolutely agree with that. Honestly, I really actually do enjoy that call. I wonder if that is something on the radar of Stearns.
I mean, no articles on it. I guess they were saying Baltimore, right? Maybe.
And like, I don't want him to go to Baltimore. I'd rather him on the Mets, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I would think that what else to get the fan base riled to pick up someone from the team that just beat you in the that just won the World Series, not for nothing. Like this guy. Has won 2 World Series with the Dodgers organization here. So it's like, again, I think a great guy that they could land. And at that point, I mean, I don't know. I was just looking at Corbin Burns' stats. I mean,
they are pretty good.
They are pretty freaking good, dude.
I guess strikeout rate down though, or no? Last couple of years.
Let's see. Strikeout rate down.
Ks per 9.
Ks per 9, 9.3 to 8.4. Almost down a whole K.
And what
per
he was
9.
at 13 in what, 2020?
2021 here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 2020, 13.3.
Yeah.
2020 led the league in strikeouts per 9 with almost 13. That's when he won his Cy Young with a 2.43 ERA with Milwaukee. So, again, another pitcher, too, who I guess had some injury as well.
Wait, the home runs are concerning. What is it, 27 or 22?
22 home runs the past
22.
2 seasons.
But and also, though, you got to keep in mind for Baltimore, I mean, the advantage he has with that left field.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that he definitely, could have given up a couple
I definitely
more.
have seen him give up a lot of home runs, too.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, if he has an ERA that's under 3,
Yeah,
and
obviously you're going to take it. He's making 30 starts, obviously. And would be your ace,
consistently,
your dog.
he would be the dog, dude. And if he, again, the strikeouts, maybe get back to 200 here, that would be sick, dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen.
But everybody's saying too, because I was listening to Phillips this morning, like no connection whatsoever to the Mets. They said they're not interested. But
The Mets aren't interested, or he isn't interested.
I'm sure he would be interested, but they're not interested, supposedly.
I mean, listen, if they bring in Walker Buehler, I'm happy with not worrying about Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if you're a Mets organization, if you're any organization, and you want to win the World Series, and you're looking to bolster your rotation, I mean, I guess it would be smart to pick up this guy. But for 10 years, over 300,
They're saying maybe the
350.
Giants.
I can see the Giants won't doing that.
Again,
they need
struggling
it,
to get
need
guys.
It. But I don't know, dude. If I was Stearns, I would at least look at this and contact Burns. I mean, you'd be stupid not to, right?
Yeah.
Especially with, again, I mean, the Mets roster and organization is starting to look a bit more attractive to go to for sure. So I don't know, dude. I would, if you were looking at those two guys though, I would rather take a flyer on Bueller. But again, I mean, back against the wall, I mean, if the Mets don't come up with either of these two pitchers, like there's going to be probably a significant problem with your rotation.
I mean, Clay Holmes, 4 times as a starter 6 years ago, ERA of 7.8. First of all, that's a long time ago. And second of all, it clearly didn't work out.
So again, I mean, you never know what they're going to try to do with him, but I mean, it's always helpful to have either maybe him be your backup plan. You try him out of the rotation, try him out of the bullpen. You know, he has that, I guess, for going for him. But let's start the run for Walker Bueller, I think, dude. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that does make sense. I was just trying to figure out too. Are there any other like pitchers of note, available?
Burns, Bang. We know about Sasaki, Blake Snell, Max Fried, Jack Flaherty. You mentioned.
Okay, so Flaherty. Yeah.
Walker Bueller,
Kikuchi went to Angels.
Yep, we know that. Nathan
Bieber,
Eovaldi.
did he resign? Oh. Did Bieber resign?
I want to say yes. Shane Bieber, yep, Guardian.
Okay, yeah, he did return.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Oh, that was it?
And I guess that's
really. Oh, wait, what's it? There's something at the bottom.
These are top 10.
Are there notes?
Other receiving votes: Severino, Nick
Zagano
Martinez,
just signed to the Orioles. Nick Martinez sucks.
Charlie
Scherzer,
Morton, no thank you. Yeah.
I'm surprised Manaea's not listed on there.
No, he's number 5, I think.
Oh,
he's number 6.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, maybe they'll look at that if maybe the contract demands come down. But I'm imagining he's kind of hoping to get that one more payday for his career. Manaea,
yeah. I mean, not for nothing, dude. And you haven't re-signed Manaea. I kind of forgot we haven't re-signed him.
Or Quintana.
And not for nothing, too. I mean, like a lot of these pitchers are accounted for on this list.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, you're kind of almost in a position where you have to maybe make an offer to Corbin Burns. Because again, to come up with nothing would be really bad.
No, I don't care what anybody says. You're not doing anything of significance with that rotation. Like maybe you could start the season like that, but then you're going to have to pony up at the deadline.
Absolutely, dude. Exactly. You don't want to, and then again, like at the deadline, overpay.
Right. When
not
you get
good,
Walker
dudes.
Bueller for under $100 million, I mean, it's just.
Dude,
I don't know if he doesn't want to go there, but
doesn't really matter though.
No.
Like,
obviously, yeah, you give him the money, especially if his market's not robust.
Right. And honestly, like, even he is like kind of a walking problem with the injuries,
No, I know.
So
it's not like great. Yeah, Flaherty has had injuries as well. That's why the Yankees didn't acquire him at the deadline.
And I mean, not for nothing, like it. I guess maybe you want to say that that's maybe just like a curse over there in LA. All these pitchers get injured over there, and hopefully, change of scenery, stays healthy. Michael. But it's still, a little bit of a question mark, dude. So it's like, who really is your best bet? Probably Corbin Burns, honestly, would be the most consistent, the workhorse, the dog. But obviously,
he's got that dog.
He's got that dog in him, dude.
Michael, it feels like there's something big you want to say. Oh, Tony the mic.
He's so bad at this. Like as soon as I walk in, it should be turned on.
I want to make sure.
It should have been on the whole time.
Yeah, saying anything that's not good, dude, because then they can get through, dude. Sometimes Mike says inappropriate things, can't get over the air, dude.
I'm not you.
You are. You wish you were me, dude.
Thank God. So Saturday, I worked the game. You guys know this, but I'll tell the story. St.
Bonaventure,
which is such a weird name.
It is.
The
Bonnies.
It's by Pennsylvania and New York border.
I actually don't even know.
Yeah, Josh B sent me a Google Maps thing.
Pennsylvania sounds about right.
Anyway, and I'm sitting down baseline because there's a lot of waiting when you do these gigs. You're just waiting and waiting.
Get there 5 hours early.
Oh, it's so stupid. I don't get how Tony loves it. It's like a torture. And so I'm just sitting there baseline, and I hear a voice because I'm on my phone. I'm looking down. I hear a voice half court, No one's in the stadium. It's just me and 2 other guys right now. And I look up and I see some, 2 dudes, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, is that Woj? And then he keeps talking. I'm like, oh my God, that's Woj. And I walked by them maybe like, I don't know, 4 times to see if I could get like, a sliver in there to say something.
Wow. 4
And
times?
Literally, bathroom, grab a water, everything. I tried everything. But
And then
he saw that I noticed him though too when I looked up, like, because I did a couple takes and I looked at the phone, looked at a photo of him, and I remember he got announced that he has cancer. So I was surprised that he was there, and once I came back for the 4th time, he was out of the gym, and I was like, I think it might be over. It gets packed. It's Providence.
yes.
I was thinking about your mom the whole time.
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
Literally, she would have loved that atmosphere.
I told her they should have went.
They
too.
should have,
I
dude.
know.
That
And
was
sit next year.
It was packed.
There, yeah.
Like, I'm talking up top.
Yeah. No, I know.
The whole
local,
place.
They did, for teams that are close by.
I had like St. Bonavie booster people, donators. I swear, this guy was. The crowd shots every time they'd make. I turned right to them, and he was like. Going crazy, yelling at the refs. Rah! People behind. He was like Ari Gold. People behind him were telling him to sit down. He's like, when you can afford these seats, then you can tell me what to do. I was like, oh my God, this guy.
Holy cow.
Pointing at this person on the court. Doesn't he look like Elon Musk? Tell your producer to put him on. He looks like Elon
Stop
Musk.
it. He's saying this to you?
Yeah.
Oh
I was
my
like, I
God.
told him already. He's not impressed. And so then, but before the game starts, it's packed. The lights are down or whatever. I'm going to my camera now, and he's talking to that guy. This is before the tip off. Woj is talking to him just by chance, and I had it all planned out. I looked up how to say his name properly because I didn't want to call him Woj.
Yeah.
Wojnowski.
Yeah.
And he's walking away, and he's at the basketball hoop behind it, and Mr. Wojnowski, and he turns around, and I'm like, I just wanted to say, God bless you, you're awesome, you're a legend in the sports media world, and that's what I said to him. He said, thank you so much, and then I said another, I went to Shu, so he had context why I said that. The sports media comment, and then I was like, do you mind if we take a photo? And that's where we got the photo.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's awesome.
He's really
man.
nice
That's
guy.
really dope. Yeah.
Way nicer than Tony. Like, I could see Tony in that position of power, just totally writing off a young Mike.
Oh, definitely, dude.
Looking at me and
Yeah.
being like, ha!
Yeah.
And walking away.
Young Mike.
Also, though,
I
I
went to the
think-
University of Bridgeport.
I
What?
think,
You're going nowhere, kid.
do you think you would have approached him for a picture? I almost think you would be like, Woj? Ah.
Tony wouldn't.
Wojnowski, no, I wouldn't. Especially if I'm working too. Hell no, I wouldn't
Tony
do
doesn't
that.
do that.
But I
He
think
gets
even if
too
you
shy.
weren't working, I think you'd be like,
No, he wouldn't.
No, that's very unprofessional. Especially,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, dude.
He didn't think so.
I wouldn't do. That's fine if you didn't think so.
Let's say we were
I
at the
wouldn't.
game, like just chilling. I feel like you still wouldn't have went.
To Woj, probably not.
No, he wouldn't
Gordon
do it
and
to
Larry,
anybody.
that's what I'm
He's
saying.
he's too shy. When famous people are around, Tony tightens up in certain areas.
Yeah, because like they don't want to talk to me.
yeah,
They don't give
wanna
a
talk
fuck
to
about
though.
me. No, they don't.
He did.
I'm sure he thought you were probably very nice words, but once he fucking turned around, he probably forgot what you looked like.
No, because later he came up to me and said, "Hey, kid, you're going places."
No, he didn't.
I know.
I actually believe you there. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, that's so
I
funny.
saw you working handheld. You're really good there.
Oh my god, that is so funny. But
He
yeah,
really
that's-
though has turned that program. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never heard of them before.
Right.
First of all,
Yeah.
and that team, they're 10-1. I don't know what they are now if they've played
Yeah.
since, but 10-1. Providence gave them all they got. There was 2 players missing from Providence
that
and
were
from
injured.
St.
Yeah.
B. And I mean, it was a great game down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an upset because Providence obviously in the big conference.
That was their big challenge this
Yeah.
year so far.
Yeah.
8 transfers in the portal.
Wow, dude.
No, he's brought momentum to the
I mean, all he
program.
has to, I would go there because
Yeah.
he knows everybody in the NBA.
Exactly.
All the
Exactly.
agents.
And you're going to see more and more
Yeah.
and more of this, especially with the NBA.
And going,
as
and
Matthew
going.
would say, sucking ass.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that story.
It's a great story.
Great stuff, Michael. Great stuff.
Can you tell if Tony's being sarcastic or not?
He's being sarcastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
he tries to play it off. Dude.
That
we
he's
don't
like a nice
know
guy,
him.
but he's not a nice
We've known
guy.
him for years. We know the deal.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
The
And then-
gimmicks.
Yes.
Searching
yes.
for it.
Oh my God, dude.
There's something wrong with you two, dude.
Unreal,
Something
unreal.
wrong with you two, dude.
While I'm here, though, I know you
yes.
guys are talking other things. Did you catch the?
NBA Cup?
Yeah,
No. Bucks?
yeah.
Giannis?
Well, they're 13-1 in their last 14 games.
Yeah.
Looks like they figured it out. Giannis is happy
They're saying MVP for him.
for the league.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could see them coming out of the East. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Giannis.
Yeah.
And it would be quite the story.
know that, Brian.
This kind of goes to, we've talked about the redemption stories with Wilson and Tomlin. Kind of would be, obviously, Giannis doesn't need any redemption, but for Doc, because obviously everyone.
did you hear what he said?
No.
A couple weeks ago, he said he's actually going to try coaching to coach.
What does that mean?
Like, so you haven't been the last 8 years?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's just But if it's crazy though, what his career looks like if somehow they make a run this year, completely different than the way it looks right now.
No, 100%. No, him and Dame. Dame looks good too. I only caught highlights because Stream East went down for that.
NBA Cup?
Viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
They've been going down a little bit more recently.
the NBA ratings you're talking about.
so is Netflix.
Well, that too,
according
but
to Joey.
Yeah, it's true. Stream East, dude.
Stream East.
I don't know, man. They could be getting God soon. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the NBA's got to step it up. That's all I need to know. You see KD
Doesn't
shitting
like
on the
it.
cup, the
Yeah.
All-Star game.
Yep.
But the players are the problem. He's part of the problem.
Yeah.
He is part of
They
the problem.
don't realize that because they're thinking about money and
Yep.
nothing else.
That's it. Just like Tony.
So if anybody wants to watch real basketball, like I said earlier
LA
on,
Fitness midday on
Well,
a weekday.
actually,
You see
I did
Brian.
play yesterday. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up because we have a lot of comments to get to. But had some great run doing 3s and 4s. And it was funny, too, because I know you made the joke the other day about the, what was it, 2 for 12 from 3-point range? And first of all, my wins are not under my sales, whatever you want to say, in terms of the cardio, even for half court. But grinded it out, was playing for an hour and a half, whatever. And really focused on the occasional 3 because usually they would give it to me. I hit a couple. Also had a couple bad attempts, too. So I tried to focus on just putbacks. And also good passes. And the way I ended my night, so I had, rebounds all day. And, one of the guys who was nasty, sometimes you play with somebody, and it's like you literally expect them to make every shot. Like,
Yeah.
it was somebody that good. And he was getting riled for me. He was calling me Biggs.
Yeah.
Because I would just pull the rebounds out and then always, too, since he's so nasty.
Give it to
we
him?
won basically every game. Yeah, I would just always pass to him. So the game-winning point, I get the rebound, dish it out to him. He hits someone open in the corner. Game over. Walk it off.
Bang.
So I have to say,
That's nice.
I was telling Matt about this. Yesterday. I feel rejuvenated and I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to play at least 3 or 4 times a week now. Honestly, I
That's
love
fucking
it. It's
sick,
so
dude.
it's just so much fun and it's just I don't know and mixing in the weights too. I'm good with that. But the elliptical, it's just not fun for me. I feel like I'm just looking at the clock.
Wow,
and it's
dude.
not enjoyable.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that one, dude. I'm surprised that you say that, though. You're a big elliptical guy.
But it was just
dude.
more for the results. But I feel like I can get the same results from basketball and lifting. So,
all about results, dude.
yes. But let's get to the comments. We got tons
Speaking
of comments.
of results and comments here, we have a ton. Let's move it back here.
I think it was.
Kev, dude, talking shit. We start with Jack Easy.
No, we had
Tommy Donovan.
Yeah,
here.
start with Tommy.
Do we think Spencer Jones get a look in the outfield if Cody plays some first
So
base?
I think he should. I would love for them to do it, but just from what I hear, the Yankees want him to pretty much, play at least half a season in AAA, just because high strikeout rate, inconsistencies, had a slow start last year before picking it up. But I would love to just throw him out there, learn on the fly. But it seems like that's their thought process. But again, I would love to see it.
Speaking of loving to see it here, Jack Geezy, welcome into the show here, bud. Must be from LA. He's got the marijuana leaf on his logo, on his profile picture here. It says, Yankees suck, Mets trash, Dodgers elite, dude.
And what I would say there, obviously, I mean, how do you combat the Dodgers being elite when they just won the World Series?
Can't.
But the thing that he needs to keep in perspective is they won the World Series for this past baseball season, but next baseball season hasn't started yet. Wide open field. And also, I think he should put into perspective, too, prior to 2020, I mean, we're talking about 1988, the last time the Dodgers won the World Series. So I would just say enjoy this time right now. Of course, there's a lot of momentum, because of what they've done, with these free agency signings over the past couple of years. But just one step at a time, because we think, and I always go back to the example with like the quarterbacks, going way back to actually a Super Bowl that me and Matt watched back in 2013 between the Ravens and the 49ers. Right after that game, obviously the Ravens win the Super Bowl, Flacco, historic postseason, highest paid quarterback in the league, and then it was like never the same since then. That was the only run he had. So, things may seem apparent and may seem a lock, but just remember, nothing in sports is guaranteed, Tony.
Okay, dude.
Despite the talent they have. No, serious,
yeah.
right? I mean, it's like, yes, we know the Dodgers are going to be one of the best teams in the league, of course, next year, but they're not like a lock for anything. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, nobody's a lock for anything, dude. And then Kev Dew says, kick rocks, Jack. And then Josh B says, Michael. Ernie says, you're what's poppin', gents. Yankees fans living life right now. Let's just, pump the brakes a little bit here. Josh B says, great story. Ernie says, Giannis will be a Laker soon. What do you think about that?
They've mentioned that. I just don't know, how that comes to fruition, but, just trade-wise and also their willingness to, get rid of Giannis. Like, why it'd be more him wanting to be out, but
doubt it.
Obviously, I think that would work out outstanding for the Lakers. Giannis is the type of player that they, try to acquire, like LeBron, like AD, and many others before him.
Trade talks for LeBron, too, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, though. That's just my opinion, but I have heard that, but I'm questioning it.
Questioning it, dude.
Yeah.
You know who else is questioning it? Matthew Gabriel says, good offseason for not landing Soto. Wanted Tucker to Josh, but next year we'll get him. He says, love watching UConn. He also says, great team.
UConn Huskies.
You can.
I think that's what they should say instead now. And then Michael says, Michael Theofil, that is, that's like me on the court. Tony wishes he was like that. Stop it, dude. I'm an absolute
miss playing it all.
jackal. Yeah, of course I do, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm questioning it.
Come on. Listen, dude, I've been dying to play again. Michael keeps telling us he can get us a court, whatever,
Well, Jeff,
dude.
though,
Like,
we can't just call him out and just be like, listen, like, what do you want from us, Jeff?
I don't know, man. Again, I try to keep things. It's his job, man. It's his workplace. I don't want to put him on blast, make him in a tight position he doesn't want to be in, and then maybe he loses his job, and all of a sudden he's homeless with a kid on the way.
Okay, but
dude.
that's a little ridiculous.
But
also, if there is a week that you guys can play a couple times, we can get the guest passes at least just to have something. We could go in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm down with that.
We should plan that.
I think we should plan that too. Like I'd be so excited, dude, because I can't obviously we gotta do it. It's winter, can't do outdoors right now, dude. I have a conniption in the cold.
Absolutely.
Ernie back here says phenomenal offseason. I'm okay without Tucker. He wouldn't have re-signed, excuse me, and I feel better with Bellinger. Which is great, dude. And then Michael Theofil saying to Michael Bucked, I believe he means no gambling, Matthew. Michael is all business over there. And he says, welcome to Jack. Glad to have you at DTV. That is for sure, dude. Glad to have all our fans.
And, coupling that, I'm looking forward for the Yankees' return to Dodger Stadium next year. We're coming for you, buddy.
Brian might be there, dude.
Maybe. Who knows? But then again, I would go there, but I want to go to Angel Stadium next year just because I haven't been to that one. Obviously, being to Petco. Petco would be great, but they don't play at Petco next year.
That's tough.
Yeah. But
Following season.
definitely want to do that. And it's interesting. I mean, I feel like right now it's like, with Tucker, I mean, obviously, sure. Would have been nice to have him, but maybe it works out well. Maybe Bellinger has a pretty big year. and then also, Luis Heel has a big year. That's the other part of that. You know what I mean? Luis Heel having a big year, taking a step forward, being more consistent with the control. I think, it's just an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of no-brainers here, Ernie thinks Yankees sign Alonso.
Absolutely not. And Matthew agrees with it. And I'm not sure if he's calling him Bernie by accident or if he thinks he's Bernie.
I think he's calling it by accident. Ernie,
Yeah, that's
Bernie.
what I thought. But yeah, we talked about it. And again, it's the biggest thing for me, besides that it's a big commitment, is it just seems like a player that's in decline. And also, we need to be strong at first base. And sure, he's adequate, but he's not strong. And I think that's a problem.
Would you be upset if they offered him even like less money than you think? Alonso's like, I'll take it. What was the deal? Like, is there any deal in your mind that you'd be like, yo, that's actually good? Like, I'd take him.
1-year deal, but he's not going to do that.
Come on, 1 year,
Yeah.
really?
No, I don't. Like I said, I want to start doing things right instead of being short-sighted. And I know defense is important, especially at first base. You can't have the guy at first base, balls under the legs. He doesn't have the range to get them. He's misplaying scoops. He's not jumping up high enough. You can't have that.
Yeah, but not for nothing. Alonso, it doesn't really happen to Alonso. Like the past
But he
couple
doesn't have
seasons,
range, though. He doesn't have range. There's no way you could tell me he has range.
I wouldn't say he doesn't have range. He has made some great plays at first. And I will also say, compared to what you have, it's like leaps and bounds forward.
I just think, though, the value is somebody who is going to play better defense, cost less money, be less of a long-term commitment, and hit for a way higher average. He's going to hit for a low average.
Yeah,
he's hitting. I know, whatever. He ended up with 240. I guarantee he's hitting under 240 next year, and it's just like enough of that.
Okay.
I'm
If you think so.
done with looking at the lineup, and then you have the guys, 3 or 4 of them are under 200 or at 220. Enough of that. Batting average is important, and Aaron Judge, has alluded to that the past couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what else we got?
We got some trash talking here. Ernie says he wants Alonso to piss off Mets fans. He's a real Met. Soto was rental. Ernie, I don't know, bud, but you sound pretty salty right now.
Also, just quick.
What do you got, dude?
I'm not saying that he sounds salty, but it's just like I don't agree with that whole thing. I'm not doing stuff to piss off Met fans. I'm doing what's best for our team, and Alonso is not best for our team. That's just my opinion.
And Kev Do, I don't know. He says you can tell Burry should not talk sports. All he does is root for front runners. And then Ernie says it's starting to start trouble, dude. And then dude.
It's getting a little crazy.
Getting a little crazy, dude, in here on this hump day, dude.
Oh man, but also I know Ernie enjoys the back and forth with Kev, but I've just learned from experience. There's no point to it. There's no rhyme or reason. When you know what the deal is, you don't need somebody to attempt to get you all frazzled and tight. And it's like, we know what's good. So let's go. And I can't wait for spring training, Tony.
Yeah, me too, dude. I can't wait for the baseball season, to be honest, dude.
No, there's really nothing like baseball season. I know the Rangers are bad, so that no. There's still nothing like baseball season.
Well, yeah, it's baseball, exactly. There's nothing else like it.
And that's why we just spent an hour talking
And
about it.
not for nothing, dude. I'm sorry, but Citi Field, opening day, Juan Soto in a Mets uniform, it's kind of fucking crazy. For me to be a part of that.
I'm gonna get through that.
I don't. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Not be happy over here?
No, I'm just talking about my end. I'm gonna have to talk to the doctor.
Yeah, I don't even know what
crazy drugs or something.
And it also will be sweet to see Bellinger in a Yankee uniform come opening day for them.
Wait, but the Yankees opening day is first, though, right? Do the Mets
I'm pretty
open on
sure.
the road?
I
Because we play
think
the
so, yeah.
Brewers.
Yeah.
So at least that'll make it a little better. Just starting with the Yankees, because last year we started with the Mets. We did. We did. The Yankees opened on the road.
Correct.
We opened in
You are
Houston,
correct.
yes.
Yes.
I'm surprised
Mets-
you don't know who the Mets open with.
We fucking looked it up too,
Yeah.
dude. Is it a West Coast team? I don't know, dude. Let's look it up right now while people are still arguing in the comments here. Mets opening day. Here we go.
In Houston. Or no?
No, it is.
Wait, no. Go back.
April.
No. Go to March.
Field,
Go to
dude.
March.
What the hell?
No, because this is tickets. Go.
Oh,
Tony.
Dude. Where did you see that? August. No. What were you looking at? Just
right
March
there.
27th.
At Houston.
At Houston.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Um.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Mets are playing Houston. You're playing Brewers. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, definitely can't wait for baseball season. Like I said, it's just crazy. You know, we're talking about one move, basically a couple of potential moves, and that takes an hour. That just shows how much we love it, Tony. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, just looking. Homestand Saturday, April 5th. That's pretty sweet, dude. Home campaign against Toronto.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. That's where we'll be. See April 4th against Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
I like those. That's a good matchup.
Yeah. The Friends north of the border. But let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Wellington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me? Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak,
The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
All right. So, unfortunately, kind of as in the back of our mind anyway, that we anticipated the Rangers lose to the Predators. Not only lose, but get embarrassed 2-0 to the worst team in the league. So, like I said, I'm done in terms of expecting them to win. And we were listening to whatever we were listening to before, and people are, insinuating it has something to do with Drury. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Everybody's really at fault. But the more I think about it, even over Laviolette, which again, they're saying, oh, maybe they don't think he's the problem or the biggest problem. But I question if no matter what your gripes are with the front office, if you love playing for a head coach, you don't play like this. So my vote right now would be to fire both of them. I don't care about the time they've been at their posts and this and that. This is a absolute unmitigated disaster, Tony, and I'm sick of it. And it sucks because I've had a really good few years. My first, in terms of being into hockey, following the Rangers. This is not at all the Ranger team that I've watched the last couple of years. So, I just think it's time. It's time for a new voice in the front office and head coach. And it started. It goes back to the offseason. Goes back to the trade deadlines. The last 2 trade deadlines have been a disaster. The off seasons haven't been great. So I just think Drury's not doing his job, and that's why we are where we are. And it's only compounding, Tony, because we could have gotten better trades, better value for the guys we have. Now that we've played so bad and certain guys, like Kreider, like Mika, are playing like shit, what is their value? I feel like, of guys that we would even want to get rid of, and maybe, like, the only guy that you would think has, like, a lot of value would be Panarin, and it's debatable if we even want to trade him. But it just puts the organization at a standstill, and I think, at this point, somebody needs to pay for it. And also, despite what anybody's feelings are about what they should do, when they should do, how they should do it, I also have watched, New York sports all my life, and I know James Dolan at the tip of the iceberg or whatever, a flip of a coin can make a very rash decision. So don't be surprised if we wake up one morning and both of those guys are fired, especially if this continues.
Yeah, dude. I mean, obviously, like not even talking about last night's game, listening, seeing articles, coming out and conversations on Twitter and whatnot about a, team-only meeting, discussing the, inner workings of Chris Drury and how he's been handling the team, the roster, and how he's been handling moving players. I said this to you before the show, Brian. There was the exit interview of Jacob Trouba, I mean, he talks about not necessarily regretting being with the Rangers organization and the team there and the coaching staff, whatever. It was really more just how everything was handled in his trade. And I mean, that even goes more so back to, like you said, the offseason, where it's like he was almost traded in the offseason and then wasn't. So it's just, again, how that was handled seemed weird from the get-go. And the fact that it seems like that Drury was behind, I guess, the mishandling or the unprofessional, I guess, approach to moving him around and moving players in general, like, you know, becomes more evident now and also makes more sense to what you were saying. I mean, these trade deadline acquisitions, you know, maybe bigger names, Tarasenko, Kane, whatever, but Wheeler, Roslovic, Mott, you know, all these guys, even Vetrano, it's like, you know, those moves were middling, and it's like maybe it's because, you know, Drury wasn't able to catch the eye or the ear of bigger players because of the way he was, you know, conducting himself. Either way, it's not good for the Rangers organization in terms of, you know, their ability to win. Obviously, they're losing a ton of games now, and now the locker room is turning on you, and I mean that's not great at all, dude. Like that's, like you said, like that's like wake up tomorrow morning and Chris Drury's been relieved of his duties. Because like what the hell, dude, and you know, I mean. But I mean, and listen, you hate to see that. Rangers organization, obviously, fan all my life. You don't. I've never really seen that happen.
But have you seen
in my
this
lifetime
either? Especially with a team that's as talented. I'm sure you saw it with teams that didn't have as much talent. But have you ever seen a team fall apart like this with this much talent?
I mean, President's Trophy winner. I mean, yeah, I guess when last time they won it was what, 2014, 2015. Yeah. You know, they had a fall from grace then as well.
But didn't the roster change, and wasn't that?
Yeah, yeah. No, there was some turnover.
Roster didn't change that much.
Literally, the roster hasn't changed. Exactly.
Yeah.
That seemed something more about coaching and players on the roster at that time. You know, this is a little bit beyond that because the talent is here. You watch the game last night. You still see talented players on the ice, but it's just the lack of effort, and I think just their lack of adaptability to figuring out their problem on the ice. Because listen, I mean, I know you were talking about Laviolette, and it's like, yes, you know, obviously, you know, a skid like this, you know, you don't have a lot of patience for it. You want to see heads roll, but I don't know, man. I mean, I'm still just like you. I mean, like, you know, if your GM sucks, your coach should be able to pick up your you know, the locker room. But if your coach has lost the locker room, I think if you have talent on the roster, they should be able to win games as well. And they're still not doing that. So
right, but who put these guys there? Who kept these guys there that probably should have been traded years ago?
Right, no, Drew, exactly. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I would lean less towards on firing Laviolette, to be honest. I think it is similar to Boston, where you had a GM that just was either stubborn or just not, you know, coherent enough, or just didn't have the competency to put together a better roster and make the necessary moves. And I think firing Laviolette is not necessarily a great action. I mean, listen, but then again, like, you know, again, Dolan, hands are tied. You want a new GM. New GM may want the new coach, so you may have no choice but to fire Laviolette, you know, not through any fault of Laviolette, but just by happens of circumstance. But I will say, I don't know, I still think that Laviolette's a great coach. But
oh, sorry.
No. Again, like, I think, you know, at this point, I'm not going to say that the locker room uprising is due to Laviolette. You know, if they're having a problem, if reports are saying they're discussing not firing Laviolette but firing Drury, then, I mean, who knows? Like, Drury or Laviolette may be behind the locker room in this decision, you know?
But a couple of things here. First, I would love to know the example of a team that just collapsed, that loved their coach and stopped giving maximum effort, and that the coach stayed and it worked out.
Oh, that the coach stayed and worked out. I don't think I can give you that. But again, I will talk about the Bruins situation of, you know, the players not agreeing with the firing of Montgomery. I mean, that was an instance where it's like you're seeing two leaders of the Bruins roster here saying how it's like Montgomery was a great person, a better coach, and we're worse without him.
But there's no excuse though for not having effort. So it just, to me, it's like, how could you enjoy playing for a coach? And you're like,
Well, no, that's kind of what I was saying before, where it's like, even if you don't respect your coach, you know, if you have talent on the team and good leadership on your roster, you will find a way. But they don't have a leader. The Rangers do not have a leader right now. And it seems like, I'm not going to say that this is all a locker room issue.
I feel like it all, I swear to God, I think it all is. I don't think you fall asleep. I understand, like, you might say, oh, this year, maybe they're due for a little regression. But this isn't regression. This is like, none of these guys even almost all of them. Like, I know that, sure, a couple guys are having okay seasons, but they don't even deserve to be in rotations, in lines.
I think that, obviously, overall hanging umbrella issue is the locker room problem, leadership, coaching, GM, whatever. But to me, I mean, like, they weren't playing great hockey, and that's why they can't fix their mistakes on the ice is because of the locker room issue.
I think they're choosing not to, though, and that's.
I don't think they're choosing not to, dude.
Well, but I mean, like, you know, you're out to lunch and like someone's skating by you, scoring, and you're just like Mika, like the other day, stuff like that. You're telling me he couldn't fix that? That's on him. He's not dialed in. They're not dialed in.
They're not dialed in. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I still think that they had problems on the ice with success. We saw that last year, right? Against, tough teams. They needed, obviously, to pull it together and figure it out, but without their leadership, without their locker room, they don't have that. So I think that they still have that underlying issue of trying to improve their team and their level of play, but it is being, they're not able to fix that issue until they figure out what's wrong inside the locker room, inside this front office. And that's something, too, which also kind of sucks. It's like, I mean, those types of problems as a fan, you can really only speculate because you hear reports of this, different sources say that. No one really on the team, talks about these things outspokenly, at least not while it's happening and unfolding, So there is certainly a sense of uncertainty and doubt in terms of what is the real underlying issue. But I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, and I think that if they do need Drury out, I mean, not for nothing. If you're an owner and I see my roster having a meeting about, like I'm sitting down with my GM the next morning, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, you're having a ascension through the ranks. Like, we can't be doing this, So like you said, I mean, if Drury can't walk into a locker room like this weekend or next off day or something and squash some beef, I mean, you got to get rid of him, right? Like, there's no real other way around it.
Do it now. Just rip off the Band-Aid, please, dear God.
And not for nothing, dude, like, I mean, Drury did get, we thought Trouba was the problem, captain gone, resurgency, another veteran step up. The kids will step up with that veteran, and it's just like none of that has happened. And we've seen loss after loss, and you're getting shut out by a bad Predators team. And I mean, I agree. I mean, we're gonna, we can watch these 2 goals that they give up, and it is just not good hockey, And I still, like I said, I think it really does stem from the locker room issue. Because I mean, hockey is a game that relies so much on chemistry. Yesterday I mentioned Blake Wheeler. I saw a highlight of Blake Wheeler. I don't know if you remember this goal, dude. I remember watching this on TV and just thinking this is fucking nuts. But like a crazy goal by Blake Wheeler last season. Zibanejad set him up with like this ridiculous between the legs, behind the back pass, and just put it on the stick of Blake Wheeler. And he just finds the back of the net. And it's like Blake Wheeler isn't good. He's like 33 years old and could barely keep up with Zibanejad, but they had great chemistry. He enjoyed playing with Zibanejad and Kreider and on that line, and that's why you saw some success with that line. It's because they just enjoyed playing with each other. Like, and that feeling this year seems to have been lost, And obviously that's, indicative of the locker room problems and whatnot. But it's like you have to get back to that point. You have to enjoy playing with each other and have that chemistry, Like that play was set up because they had good chemistry. Zibanejad knew without even looking, oh, Blake Wheeler's behind me. I know his style. I know how he – and then that – I've never seen a play like that happen this year where it just seems like it's just like they didn't even think. They just knew where everyone on the ice was. Again, this year you don't have that, which is why you're losing those little battles, which is why there's stupid turnovers because people aren't where they think they should be or you just don't have that I don't know, cohesiveness, it seems. And yeah, I mean, if you want to fire Laviolette, I guess as I'm talking more about it, like I said, new GM, new coach. But I mean, it just, to me, seems like an absolute fucking waste that it had come to this point. And like you said yesterday, you can, say you could have done this, but you really can't change anything now because the past is the past. But it is like an absolute waste of like what could have been this year at that point. And if you don't fix it again now, like that's really what is the true problem at that point, right? Like, because at this point we've identified it took us, unfortunately, however X amount of games, half the year almost, to figure it out. But then like now it's like now you need Dolan to step in and possibly get a new GM here.
Yeah, and I think too the problem is, let's say you want to keep Laviolette, but you get a new GM, then it's like he's a dead man walking. Like every time there's a change of GM, existing head coach, maybe the last of the season, he's not going to be there because the GM wants his own guys. So
right,
Like,
exactly.
then you're wasting time, and it's just like, oh man, it just stinks, Tony. But I have to say, like, and I am not the person that with any team that I root for, barring I guess the Jets, where you would consider me pessimistic, but I just think we're fucked. Honestly, I really do. I really think this feels like, unless there's some great move that's made or energy from an interim head coach, general manager, then we're not even gonna make the playoffs. Honestly, that's just how I feel. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the season can be salvaged, but the action needs to be taken right now.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you're totally right, dude.
We're not in the playoffs right now.
No, you're out of the wild card. Again, you're coming out of the Eastern Conference, incredibly competitive. Your division is competitive as well, so it's not easy. I mean, don't forget, like, the Rangers were battling tooth and nail to be first place in the conference at the end of the year, and they were playing their best hockey. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's not going to be, like you said, it's easy for them to slip out of playoff contention. It's interesting. Tommy mentioned it.
About Sean Avery.
Sean Avery praising Drury. I was reading that this morning as well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, you want to talk about energy or resurgence. I mean, Avery can come in here and again, like, rustle some feathers, bring in a guy. Sean Avery is another no-nonsense guy who obviously, growing up, for me, watching him, physical, played with a lot of heart, dude. Prime Devils, Rangers rivalry, especially with him, his hatred for Brodeur. It was just so sick, dude. The Sean Avery rule. Obviously, that guy had definitely made his mark on the Rangers organization as a fan favorite, certainly, even when he wasn't, playing his best. But nonetheless, dude, I mean, I guess I would be down for that. Because, I mean, listen, Sean Avery now, I think, has a podcast or goes on Spittin' Chicklets every so often or whatever. And you see him breaking down plays and the way he talks about certain players around the league. So, he's in the know. He certainly has the knowledge and analysis. Former player, obviously.
You think he's pulling a Rex, like campaigning, or no?
No, I don't think so, dude. I would honestly think that Sean Avery doesn't want the job and doesn't want... Because I just feel like after retirement, he went out quietly, does his thing, whatever. Again, maybe the podcast could say different. I kind of thought maybe we would see him on TNT, intermission reports, but he's not. Let's just say a polished individual.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I would think he doesn't want the job. But then again, I mean, you offer him money, maybe he'll take it. But you need someone who is gonna want to be able to handle the pressure now, especially with all the rumors obviously surrounding Avery is hyping him up, but I mean, just the rumors with the players only meeting against Drury. I mean, there's just so much, like almost like what you were saying. It's just like, what the fuck happened,
Yeah.
So there's going to be an immense amount of pressure in the new GM. Keep Laviolette or not, it's almost like to come in and you have to go on a 10-game win streak,
Yeah, and
it seems very far, and it's crazy to think that it does seem far out of the grasp to have a successful season now. But it's hard for me to think.
It's dejecting. It really
Very,
is.
very dejecting, dude. And last night's game was fucking horrible, dude. Did you watch any of it?
No.
You want to see a couple goals?
Sure. Hey,
All
guess
right,
what I was
dude.
watching, though, by the way? Instead.
Lincoln Warrior? No, the rookie.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Is it still good? You still into it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Me and Sam, it's our show. And I think we're like just finishing season 1, so we have a lot of room to run.
Oh, nice.
Tony.
How many seasons do they have now?
I think they're on their like 6th season or something. So there's a lot to
Oh, wow.
watch. Yeah.
Well, good for them, dude. I'm really happy for you, dude. It also seems like that, most of the Rangers organization maybe has been spending their nights watching The Rookie instead of, I don't know, learning to play better hockey. But right here, this is going to be the first goal. I believe this is Marcia Schultz's goal, to be honest. I think he was the first goal. Let me mute this here. This is kind of crazy, dude, because, again, this is like one of those stupid plays. Let me actually just change this right here. Bang. Yeah, dude. So let's just double check here. This is Jonathan Marcia Schultz's goal. A guy we talked about yesterday, potentially, having him on the Rangers roster. But nonetheless, dude, what you're going to be looking at here is the Rangers winning one of their faceoffs here, which is great in the Predators zone here. Unfortunately, I guess there was a little kerfuffle here at the blue line. Because what's his name? It's Ruedel and Vakanen. It is Vakanen. Yeah, I thought so. 18's right there. Ruedel, to have him on the line with Vakanen, I don't know, man. Again, like two guys, maybe this is a Laviolette kerfuffle, but two guys that obviously haven't had a ton of playing time on the Rangers this year. To have them matched up on the same defensive pairing, I think is maybe a mistake there for me individually. But right here, you're going to see, face-off was won by us. We kind of lose it a little bit here, though. But right here, you're going to see Ruedel kind of misplay the puck, and it's just kind of going to trickle forward. I think this is Marcia Schultz who picks it up here. And you got Marcia Schultz, you got Stamkos, whoever that other guy in the first line is with them. I don't think it's O'Reilly. But you're going to see them score here. It's like a 3-on-none almost. And it's just pass to Stamkos. Stamkos backhands it to Marcia Schultz, and it's just like obviously open net here. And dude, it's just, oh my God. It's just like one of these goals where you're saying like lack of effort, Brian. I mean, I don't think you can explain more lack of effort here. Again, Vakanen is right here. He's trying to play the defender, which is great. Ruedel comes back because he was a little bit out of position. He's covering two players, dude. You see him on Marcia Schultz here. He's going to change with the cross-ice pass. Vakanen kind of moves over to cover this guy on the right-hand side. So that leaves Stamkos open. So Ruedel kind of shuffles over, which is great. But right here, how do you not fucking slap his stick and I don't care if you have to I don't know, commit a penalty even, dude. Like, it's a 3-on-none almost, but he gets the pass off, and there's Marcia Schultz right there, and you can't have, obviously, Ruedel can't cover two guys here, so Marcia Schultz becomes the open man, and it's just an absolute field day and an easy score for Marcia Schultz, which is obviously great to be there. Stamkos, Marcia Schultz, hilarious. But it's also, dude, not for nothing, let's run it back here. Where the hell you want to throw Mika under the bus some more, Brian? Where is the back checking from the forwards here? We're gonna pause it right here, dude. Okay, so this is right as we're getting the pass to Stamkos there to the middle. There's 4 Rangers back, dude. There's 4 Rangers and you see 3 Predators. How are we creating a 3-on-2 rush when our 2 forwards aren't doing anything, again, dude? Like, how are you not just a burst of speed and you tell Ruedel, hey man? Or Ruedel shifts down, I'll grab Marcia, or I'll grab Stamkos, you stick on Marcia Schultz. Like, where's the communication? Where's the thought? Instead, we have 2 forwards watching the play, watching a 3-on-2.
Terrible.
And a goal. So stupid, dude. It's just like, how do you not, if I'm sitting here, and I guess you could say I'm sitting here watching it, but this is, professional hockey players should be able to see this, have the foresight. Mika should have the foresight to be like, oh, I should get back there, dude, and maybe defend a little bit. But he doesn't do that, dude. He doesn't do that at all. And then the second goal of Riley, poor Igor, dude. Really poor Igor. I'll say that all freaking night. I guess we'll fast forward to the second goal here, given up. This is some freaking, oh my God. This is when Riley Smith just gets absolutely fleeced at the blue line here. I think this is going to be right here. This is some, I forget this dude's name, something with a K.
This is his first career goal. Because I heard the call on the radio.
You listen to the radio?
Yeah, because I was on my way home, and Kenny was on the call.
Kenny Albert on the call. Kenny does a good job. Let's see, what's his name, dude? Willsby, Adam Willsby, with his first goal of the season. Definitely of his career. Definitely showcases some talent. You see, Riley right here, Riley Smith, 91. Bang, he's gonna come up and just decide not to defend. Willsby up. And then it's a free, and then, no one really collapses. He has all day, which, isn't really anyone's fault other than, Riley Smith's there. And it's just like, 5 bodies in front of Igor. He can't see shit. 2-0, dude. But honestly, like, that's not even the problem, honestly. It's at this point, you're giving up these goals. That can happen against any team, dude. Against really any team. If I go back to that first goal given up, if this decides to load for me, that'd be great. But just seeing... again, to kind of get back to beyond a locker room problem, I'm going to be pretending here that we don't have a locker room problem, that we're just playing bad hockey. Like, you see that first goal given up off of face-off in your offensive zone. I mean, a big reason why I think that the Rangers aren't playing or have a lot of sustained offense is because now their players are playing so far back to cover the blue line, because we've been breaking down goals given up where it's stupid, board battles that are lost. Puck gets kind of, poops out somewhere, breakaway, 2-on-1 opportunity. Now you have an over-protection, I think, of the blue line when you're in the offensive zone, which is why you're getting so many, like, one-time opportunities. Saros makes a save, rebound, nobody's there, Predators clear. Or just a lack of forechecking, lack of offense, I think, is because now you need 3 players who are covering in the blue line, or you need more players covering the neutral zone to stop a breakaway opportunity or stop a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1, because you're making those mistakes with those little battles. And obviously, you hear any coach, and that's where those problems arise from not winning those battles, those one-on-one board battles. All of a sudden, you have one-on-one battles you're losing. You need to go 2-on-1 to compensate for it, and then there's a man open, and then now you have to cover the blue line somehow. So you're sacrificing, offensive structure in order to keep this puck in the offensive zone, to keep it from going, towards the other way on a man advantage or something like that. And I think that's what is significantly killing your offensive opportunities, which is why you're scoring no goals. On top of that, we've seen, Saros has great games. He is a good goaltender. But you let the Predators hang around and you give them time and space. That's what, those veteran players I was kind of saying that are too slow. You give them space, they're going to use that space to their advantage, like Stamkos and Marchessault. Like, those guys know what to do. They can recognize time and space. And then all of a sudden you get some rookie player like Wixby over there, who's now probably recognizes time and space that his veteran players are using, takes advantage of that, gets a goal. You're down 2-0. You have no offense. And you get shut out on the road against the Predators. Not good at all, dude.
Yeah.
Just not good.
And I just think there's no ebb and flow on offense. There's no plan on offense. So, yeah, it's a complete embarrassment. It feels terrible. And I think Michael hits it on the head.
Barnes GM, Tony next coach for the Rangers. That would be sick, dude.
Yeah. Because I would just be like, excuse me, like, what the fuck is your guys' problem?
Literally.
Like, you want to just sulk all day about you hate Drury? Why don't you go write him some hate letters or something? Like, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, it's just so ridiculous, honestly. It really is. It really is. It's pathetic. It's not the team that we've watched the last couple of years.
Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely
evident.
not. Very evident, dude.
So,
I mean, God, you can't even fucking score, dude.
Yeah.
And again, you want to fucking yell at some players. Vincent Trocheck, breakaway opportunity last night. Again, Saros had a good game, but it's like, how do you not score? Breakaway, dude. A one-on-one with the tender. That's what you dream about. Saros did have a great glove save on Trocheck, but it's like, that's like the opportunity. That's the jump start you want your veteran players to have, dude. Like, make a flashy play.
There's just no good shots. All the shots are pathetic. They're blocked. It's just ridiculous.
It is, dude. And it's one-time opportunities. You see Zibanejad, he makes a move. Hedo makes a move. Lafreniere, opportunity at the net, and it's just like rebound. Nobody's home, dude. Predators pick up the puck, clear it, and it's just that opportunity is few and far between. You have no second period. They had probably 10 minutes of a couple good shifts. Looked like they were on top of the Predators, some sustained offense, but obviously, again, nothing to show for it. Any adversity you have on offense, good goaltender, good defense, blocking your shots, shooting lanes, clogged up, you can't handle it, dude, and you give up goals.
As Michael said, that you said, not tonight.
Not tonight, dude.
Luckily, they are not playing tonight, but unfortunately, the next time they do play on Friday will be in Dallas. So you can only imagine
Stars
what a
are good.
blowout that's going to be. And before we get to the games tonight, just a quick synopsis of what we saw last night. The Canadiens all over the Sabres.
Crazy.
So 6-1. Lindley Ruff seems to be losing his grasp on the Sabres, returning to that organization.
Not good.
So many years later. Lane with the hat trick. So we did have a hat trick. We saw the Lightning 5-3 over the Jackets.
Not surprised there.
Not surprised. And kind of just scoring spread out, and the Lightning looking strong right now. Trying to return to a top contender in the Eastern Conference. The Penguins get an OT win. Patrick Raquel over the Kings in overtime, 3-2. So that was a surprising result. So the Penguins hanging in there. I mean, we had all this talk about the Penguins. What are they doing? This and that. I mean, right now, you would have never thought this going into the season, but it seems like for the rest of the year, I have more confidence in them than the Rangers, and that's sad.
Right now, they're putting well 7-2-1 in the last 10.
We did have a shutout. Allen, always talking about us with the shutouts.
There we go.
The Hurricanes over the Islanders.
Knew it. Kachekov.
4-0. Kachekov. So they're having a strong season, 20-10 now. The Devils beat the Blues on the road, 4-1. So they're off to a good start as well, 21-10. We talked about the Rangers. Blackhawks upset win, 3-2 over the Caps. I mean, the Caps have been so hot, so you give them a pass on this. But it is interesting, Tony. I mean, I guess it is the team around it, but I just feel like every time we're going over these box scores and we go to Chicago, and it's just like it's never the big Bedard game. I mean, Are you a little surprised that we haven't seen just a little more of that? I know he's young and it's tough to do that, but it's like almost never.
I think he's tight.
You really?
I think he's tight on Chicago. I think he's fed up with the organization. They really haven't made huge strides. Donato is young and good as well. Taravainen, that was a great pickup too, but I don't think he's nearly as competitive as they thought that they would be. And I mean, talk about having that, the overbearing, the scandal with Quintonville and everything, and the breakup of what that dynasty used to be in the early mid-2000s. I mean, it's hard to come back from that, dude. It's hard to change that culture as an 18-year-old,
I mean, I could think of a team who would be interested in him.
Yeah, obviously, dude. But, I mean...
I would give up 5 first. I don't care. And throw in Zibanejad just to get him out of here.
I mean, it'd be an interesting push to see, dude. Talk about, if Drury stays and that's his plan. I mean, that's,
That's a pretty good plan.
Pretty good plan,
but
dude. But there's
obviously,
no way,
second, yeah, the guy that
making trades right now seems like it's so far away to even think about that, dude.
For that type of trade or any trade?
Any trade, dude.
Why? Because no one has any value.
Well, it just seems like who's your GM going to be at this point is my question. It's like that.
I think he'll be fired after the Dallas game if he's not fired before. I really believe
that's
so.
fucking wild. Fucking wild.
The Bruins hanging in there, 4-3 over the Flames. Pasti, the game winner. So they're now 17-13.
Code red.
3. No code red for the Bruins just yet. The Senators shut out the Kraken. So another shutout, Allen. See, they happen. 3-0. Allmark pitching that shutout.
Hold that one too.
So they're hanging in there, 16-13-2. The Sharks almost put a scare into the Jets in San Jose, but ultimately fall in this one 4-3. Celebrini, though,
looking good.
A goal and an assist. So seems like he's going to be a bright part of their future, of course, given the pedigree. And then Connor with 2 goals, Sheffley with a goal and 2 assists. Jets are rolling at 23-9.
I would think, dude, Sharks, Georgiev, he steps up a little bit. I would say within a few years, Sharks vastly better than Blackhawks, honestly.
And I think Sharks next year, playoffs. Like wild
Could
card.
be, dude.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, Georgiev, I don't know what's going on with him, but if he figures it out, Sharks have a tender. They have a number 1 overall pick. I mean, all of a sudden it's looking a little bit more enticing to go play for San Jose.
Yeah, and not exactly code red, Tony. But looking ahead to tonight, 5 games, so half as many as last night. But, we do have the national doubleheader, Flyers, Red Wings, followed by Panthers, Wild, which should be a really, really good game. 9:30, too. So, actually, that's when you don't need to stay up that late. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So I'm excited to, Maple Leaf Stars is going as well. So I'm excited to pick these games. So let's do a Wednesday edition of the Frozen Frenzy.
Let's go, baby. Hump Day Wednesday. December 18th, dude. Christmas around the corner. Could come early for a few teams here in Detroit. We're starting off 7 p.m. Taking on the Flyers, Little Caesars Arena. Philly, minus 105 coming in here. Over-under is 5.5. Flyers beat the Red Wings earlier on this month, 4-1. Travis Konechny has been playing really well. Flyers on a little bit of a churn, I suppose. They just lost to Minnesota 4-1. So they're looking to kind of bounce back a little bit here in Detroit. Detroit themselves just beat Toronto, dude. This is honestly kind of a tough matchup for me. Boy, Brian, what do you got here?
I'll go with Torts in the sweatshirt. I know obviously coming off that loss, they had won their previous 2 games, including a home win against Detroit. I think this is a tight game though this time around. But ultimately, I think Konechny has the game-winning goal with 30 seconds remaining. Flyers 4-3. Flyers in the over.
I do like that call here, dude. Give me Torts. Why not? Josh B, watch out, dude. Cam Talbot, a former player of John Tortorella. I think probably knows his weaknesses, gives Konechny a few, maybe tells, dude. Travis, hat trick, dude. Flyers win 4-2. Flyers end the over here. Next game, let's go to Dallas here as they take on the Maple Leafs, one of Brian's primetime matchups, 7:30 here. ESPN plus Dallas minus 135. So Toronto plus money. Watch out. Total here is 5.5. First time these two teams are playing each other. Both of them have won 3 of the last 5 games. Stars, though, a little bit of a heater. Overtime win against St. Louis, and then took care of business against Washington. I would say, though, certainly probably their best opponent in their last 5 games here. How do you see this one panning out for the Stars, dude?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Maple Leafs. I think, maybe they're thinking about the beatdown they're gonna put on the Rangers, so maybe the Maple Leafs catch them napping. But all of the offensive firepower, Marner, Nylander, Austin Matthews, what they've done in net with Stolarz. So I think they play a sound game. This is another tight game, but give me the Maple Leafs in overtime, 5-4. Matthews, the game winner. Maple Leafs in the over.
I think I'm gonna go Stars here. Brian, Stolarz on the IR right now.
Joseph Wow, though, has done a nice job.
He did a great job, actually. Shutout in the year, 224 goals against, 918 save percentage. But I think Jake over here for the Stars is good. Matt Duchene has been really killing it for them as well. I know Mitch Marner has the sneaky 41 points on the season for Toronto. Dude, watch out for Mitch Marner. But I think overall Stars, Roope Hintz, I believe, had 2 goals against Washington. Another goal, 2 assists here. Duchene, couple goals. I think firepower too much there for the Leafs. They choke in the third period, give one up late to put the Stars up 4-3. Stars in the over. There's your winner chicken dinner, dude. Next game here, 9:30. Another nice matchup here. Wild of Minnesota taking on the Panthers. Brian, what's about this one? Florida minus 150 coming into St. Paul. So Minnesota plus 130. Also value there. Over under another 5.5. Wild on a little bit of a skid, losing 3 of the last 5. Tough schedule, losing to Vegas, losing to Edmonton, losing to LA. Panthers, we know the shootout in Edmonton. You think another shootout here tonight, dude?
Yes, but the home team will have something to cheer about. So Josh B, always talking about value here. I mean, Minnesota's been a great team all year. I don't care about those losses recently. Take them the plus 130. And it's saying that Zuccarello might come back for this game, which would be big. But I'm going to say Kaprizov, the game winner in overtime. Another over here. Minnesota 6-5. Wild in the over.
Wild and the over. Yeah, dude, I think maybe I would go Wild here too. I think the Wild are catching the Panthers on the last leg of a tough road trip for sure. And I just think Gustafsson for the Wild has been playing off of this freaking rocker this season. And not for nothing, some of the talent on Minnesota's roster could go toe-to-toe with the Panthers. So I say Wild in an actual shootout. They win this game. I'm going to say 4-3 in the shootout. Kaprizov with the lone goal in the shootout. Gustafsson shuts the door on the Panthers. Wild, wild, wild. Let's go. Next game here, 2:10 p.m. We're getting late. Utah at the Delta Center taking on the Vancouver Canucks, a Canuck team that is looking more and more like their former selves of last year, especially with Thatcher Demko in between the pipes for them, dude. They're even coming into Utah. Over under another 5.5 here. Utah Hockey Club, speaking of the Canucks looking at themselves, the Hockey Club, winners of 4 of the last 5, beating the likes of which Colorado, Buffalo, Philly, San Jose, who's been doing well, scoring a ton, by the way. They've scored, 10, 18, 22 goals in their last 5 games. That's a lot. Do you think maybe Canucks just right the ship here?
No.
Wow.
I think Utah, like you said, has been playing well, the 4 out of 5. So maybe they are better than people think here. They've been getting good goaltending from Vizmelka. So it's interesting, this back and forth over the last couple of years between him and Ingram. Now, Ingram having the bad year after having the strong year last year, a 3.6 goals against. Vizmelka down to 2.40. So I think a tight game. But I'm going to say Clayton Keller, 2 goals and an assist. Utah, 3-2. Utah and the under.
Oh, dude, I love the Utah call here, but I don't know. I think Canucks, I'm feeling them going on a run right now. I think Demko will be, feeding out some more line out there, stretching himself out. Canucks, I say next 10 games, Canucks go 9-1. You'll see them 25-10 at the end of the next game right now. I'm just feeling it, dude. It starts tonight against Utah Hockey Club. Decisive victory. I think 4-1, dude. So give me Canucks. Give me the under. Canucks getting hot here. Next game, 10 p.m. Speaking of getting hot, it's the Ducks of Anaheim taking on the Winnipeg Jets, dude. Winnipeg minus 170, as you can imagine. Over under another 5.5 set by Vegas. Very interesting. First time these two teams see each other. Jets on a little bit of a skid, but could be coming back here. Great opponent to come back against here. Ducks have lost 4 of the last 5. Are we looking for a bloodbath here tonight?
I'm gonna, I missed on this last night with the Sharks, but listen, life on the road isn't always easy, Tony. So I'm gonna say Troy Terry, the game of his life. 3 goals, 2 assists, also known as a hat trick, and 5 points. Ducks, overtime. Terry, one of those goals, the game winner. Ducks in the over, 5-4.
I say Winnipeg scores 6. Anaheim scores 2.
Basically, you say I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. And Jacob Trouba on the ice for every goal against the Ducks. Jets and the over,
and just
dude.
like that, your Wednesday Frozen Frenzy is over. And we are almost over here. Just a couple things to mention. So I guess first we'll start with, and I hope that our good friend Michael Butka is still listening. But big game, UConn, the whiteout. I mentioned that Mark's going to be at the game, so that's dope for him. XL Center in West Hartford, and UConn strong favorites here. Minus 14.5. Both teams come in with a record of 8-3. Obviously, UConn has played a gauntlet their last 3 games here. Baylor, Texas on the road, and then Gonzaga at the Garden, while Xavier dropped a game to Cincinnati on the road, blew out Morgan State, or I guess they're called Morgan now, lost on the road to TCU, and also had a loss to Michigan by 25 points. So I still think, though, 14.5 is a lot. So I definitely think the Huskies, are going to win this game. And the total here set at 146.5. But I'm going to say a under on the number. And I think this is a 72-60 victory. So just not covering, but winning. And I think McNeely will have a huge game, as well as Caravan, who struggled at the Garden. But I think he's going to really show up as the captain of this team. And I can't wait to watch this one. 7 o'clock, FS1. And it'll be followed by another Big East matchup between number 9 Marquette and Butler. As we get into the gauntlet, Tony, of the Big East Conference schedule.
The gauntlet, dude. Yeah, I could see that. You know, UConn, you mentioned the conference opener here, make an example of Xavier Musketeers. What a terrible, terrible mascot, dude. But like you said, dude, Caravan not showing up at the Garden. You expect a better performance out of him tonight. So it's like, I don't know, man. Based on what you're saying and some of the games UConn has had, I don't know if 14.5 is really that far out there.
I know the other games that they just had were close, but they were against better opponents. But I think it's, at the same time, Xavier is not like horrible. And then, as you like to say, this isn't the divisional game, but it's a conference game. Energy will be high. I will not be surprised if they do end up covering that number. I was just trying to give it from a betting perspective. It just seems just like a little high. Like, it seems like the number should be like 12, 12.5, 14.5 is a lot.
Honestly, dude, give me UConn 85, Xavier 69.
Okay, so that's going to be the over, right?
The over,
and obviously UConn covering.
Just covering.
There we go. So excited for that. Later on, we'll certainly talk about it tomorrow. That's for sure. Our one bowl game last night ended up being a push between number 25 Memphis and West Virginia, as Memphis wins 42-37. Kind of a crazy ending to the game. Lots of scoring here in Frisco. But I thought the Mountaineers showed up, which, you don't always see in a game like this, which appeared to be, a mismatch going into the game. But their quarterback played well. Garrett Green, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 328 yards. They ran for 206 yards. So actually outrunning and outthrowing Memphis, but ultimately losing this game, and did have that interception that ends up costing them here. So the Tigers, a strong season, end up finishing 11-2. And what we have on the docket tonight is going to be 2 bowl games. One in Boca Raton, Tony. FAU Stadium. James Madison, the Dukes, were the darlings last year, first year in Division I, and then ultimately getting in the bowl game. Their basketball does really well this year. 8-4, but not as strong as they were last year. Going up against Western Kentucky, 49.5, and James Madison here, 7.5 point favorites. I look at this and simply, Tony, because I've always been a fan of theirs, and I remember it was a upset win, I want to say, against Virginia Tech years ago when they were still a 1AA school. So I've always kind of liked their program, and they did drop the last 2, a double overtime to Marshall and then a 14-point loss to Appalachian State. Western Kentucky has lost 3 out of 4, including getting blown out by 40, and no, that is not a typo, in the conference championship game.
9.
So I don't know if there's going to be any 9s involved in this one, other than the total at 49.5. But I think actually James Madison blows the doors down in this one, and I think they blow out Western Kentucky, doubling them up 42-21. Barnett, their quarterback here, who has 26 touchdowns, 4 picks, is going to throw for 4 touchdowns in this one. So give me James Madison and the over.
James Madison, dude. I guess it's a good call. Western Kentucky. James Madison, football.
But newer on the map, remember I said getting ascension to Division I.
So what do you think? They just have a little bit more juice?
Definitely juice.
Game. Want to prove themselves.
Boca Raton too.
All right, let's jump on the JMU train, dude.
Let's go, Tony. I like to see you fired up a little bit.
Yeah, why not, dude? I think, maybe a little bit lower scoring than last night's bowl game. I'll say, maybe 35, 27, 28. So what is that? That's JMU covering and obviously the over. So let's go, dude.
All right.
Let's go.
And then the final bowl game of the night here, coming to you from Inglewood, Tony.
Wow, dude.
So SoFi Stadium, the Art of Sport LA Bowl.
Sounds great, dude.
Finds the UNLV Running Rebels against the California Golden Bears here. So UNLV ranked 24th nationally at 10-3. The Golden Bears come in at 6-6. Cal actually opened as a 1.5-point favorite, but now UNLV finds themselves 3-point favorites. Cal lost 2 of their last 3 here, including a beatdown against SMU, 38-6. UNLV had won their previous 4 games before falling in the conference title game to Boise State. So I look at this and I think it's just, I know like remember the trap, the record, the spread, the low, the Vegas, the bowl game, all of that stuff. But I just think that the UNLV, again, I think they blow the doors down here as well. And how about their quarterback, Haj Malik Williams, Tony? 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Had a solid year for the running Rebels, and he does some running himself with 2 100-yard rushing games in his last 5 games. Feel good about them. And I'm just looking here. The total is 45.5 here. I'm going to go over again. I think sometimes these bowl games get a little crazy with the scoring. So I'm going to say UNLV is going to cover the 3, and I'm going to say it's going to be 31-17.
Wow.
So it's going to be UNLV and the over.
UNLV and the over, dude. It's interesting. The outcome, I don't know, man. I think maybe the Bears steal this one, dude. I'm thinking like a lot of high-octane defense, a lot of turnovers, dude. Maybe some pick sixes, maybe some scoring there then. But I think it's the under. I say Bears steal one. Why not get Mendoza to run one on his own, maybe in the last couple minutes, 4th quarter, dude. Give me Bears 21, Rebels 14.
I thought you would have more juice. UNLV, only the 3rd time in program history with 10 wins, Tony. Come on.
No, I like it. Good for them, dude. I know someone who went there.
You're calling Tony Vegas, right?
Yep, yep. Well, this is my Tony Vegas call, dude. Bears and the under.
And then I think, anyway, I'm sure we could talk sports for another couple hours, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, 2 more things. The first, we were talking about it yesterday, but Michael Vick decides to take the head coaching job at Norfolk State. So we had talked about how Sacramento State was looking to hire him, but he goes, with the FCS program. Almost like a Dion-like move to kind of start there and possibly work his way up. And I was mentioning this yesterday. I think, good move, just in terms of, getting somebody with a big name, all this stuff with the NIL now. I think that can do wonders for a program that right now, you think about Norfolk State, the big thing you think of is the upset over Duke in the first round of the NCAA basketball tournament a few years back. So I think that's great for the program. The Ivy League is going to be a part of the FCF playoffs. They haven't been, so we'll get, Harvard or Yale or Dartmouth or any of the other Ivy League schools with an opportunity to be in the FCS playoffs, which I think is good. Why shouldn't everybody be in the playoffs? And it was like that. I guess different, but just how like they used to not have a tournament in basketball, so you like to see them expanding there, and you get some players that make it to the pros from these Ivy League schools, so they're always fun to watch. And then also Scheffler McElroy did win the showdown against Koepka and DeChambeau, so that came as a surprise. But I guess should it really? Scotty Scheffler seems to do a lot of winning these days, that's for sure. And then the last thing, which again we thought was ironic that we mentioned yesterday. Falcons making the switch here from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix.
There it is.
At 7-7. 3 games left here.
What do you think?
I think Cousins looks broken. So even if maybe, he can play another year or two for this season, I think it just wasn't happening. So I do think it's a good move. Also, it's good now. Okay, let's see what Penix looks like. If it doesn't look great, then you have some things to think about for next year. But if it does, then even if you have to eat a bunch of money, Kirk Cousins is probably no longer an Atlanta Falcon.
Any value in him, you think, for other teams?
Just the contract and basically no. So that's the only thing that hurts them. But I think, is it not more important to worry about what dollars somebody on your cap is going to be next year, or if you have your future quarterback who already is 24 years old and will be 25 next year?
And honestly, I do, like we were saying yesterday too, I love these last 3 games. It's like Giants, I think Panthers, and Commanders maybe?
Yes, and the Commanders was just flexed into Sunday Night Football Week 17.
Wow, dude. So again, I think a great test for Penix to kind of find himself against the Giants. Tough game against the Commanders. He has good room for growth and challenge there, you know? Like a good litmus test to see if he'll be your quarterback.
Yeah. And then one other thing I want to mention, I guess. It's just like an on the way out type of thing. A little food for thought. We've already mentioned it, but it was just kind of going with the theme of last week. We were talking about the example that the Metropolitan fans need to follow, with you and Zacharias.
Oh, boy.
I just saw some more chirping. Even Keith McPherson was talking about it, on Twitter. And I know you know this, and I'm curious actually if you agree with this. And I know it doesn't speak for everybody, but just the fans of the Mets that come off as more concerned in breaking down the Yankee offseason, comparing versus like talking about what they're going to do next year. Is it just me, or does that seem petty and somewhat embarrassing? Like people that like that. It's like, be excited about your team. Mm-hmm. Why are you thinking about any other team? We're going to decide it on the field. Like, why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why you break? I don't know. I just think it's embarrassing and it's wrong.
It is. No, I think listen, it's not like you said before too. It's like you're focused on what the Yankees are doing. I'm focused on the Mets' next move, and I'm not going to base my moves based on what you're having your moves on. Like I'm not going to do that. So it's just like it's insignificant to what the Mets are going to do.
Right.
You know?
And it's like we have a conversation just like we did today about what the Mets are thinking, this and that. It wasn't like, oh, dude, but that's so much worse than what.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not like we're
just.
It
shouldn't have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. Unless it's like they're in a bidding war for Alonso right now.
Yes.
Then it's like, all right, then whatever, dude.
Right.
But like at this point, the moves you're making are not really. It's insignificant. It's insignificant.
Yes. So just had to mention that. But that's it. But everybody, of course, enjoy Gaming Corner tonight. 8 sharp, Tony? Or no, 7 sharp.
Tonight, because of the shoot, actually, it'll be 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah,
wow, you're sleeping here.
Probably, dude. Yeah, why not? Why not, dude?
So 8:30. Is Joey gonna be back? Joey Greenwood?
Joey Greenwood not feeling well. It will be a Michael Tony show.
Okay,
dude.
Michael Tony show. You're gonna get back on Strikers.
Get back on Strikers. Feel good, dude. Get some juices flowing, dude. Maybe watch the bowl game while we play.
All right. UConn.
Or UConn.
Michael will want to watch UConn.
Yeah, I can see that. The basketball.
Over maybe by the time 7:00 tip. No, you'll see second half.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So look forward to that later. But once again, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay, and costume the merch at downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy Gaming Corner, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.